This is none other than Mark A. Walker. Welcome to the Wake Up Morning Show with Dr. LT and Robert Earl Dean.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, I'm just going to start off by saying I'm trying to get the rumor straight because I don't know if
Oh,
I
here you
got
go
it
with your
straight.
rumors.
Well, I just want to make sure I got it right.
Oh,
Now,
Lord, help us, Jesus.
in the group, y'all have a thing about chicken wings. Now, were you the one that started the chicken wing situation with the Will Downing band?
Yes, it was definitely me because we would do late night shows sometimes, and we would get back to the hotel, and the restaurants closed. All the places that we desired to be a part of. We wanted to stop at weren't having them, and it became a Will Downing band thing. It's an expectation now. After the show, there's got to be wings in the room.
Fresh,
Well,
freshly cooked wings.
Oh yes, freshly cooked. Got to be right out of the oven.
oh, okay. So we just want to find out from you, how did we do with the wing assignment?
Truly, I'm not saying to be saying it's probably the best that we've had. Yeah, we normally get store bought, whether it's Hooters or Wing Out or whatever wing place. But yeah, home cooked, yeah, nothing beats this one. Yeah, this was awesome for real.
Yeah.
Guys talked about the food. They talked about the turkey salad. They talked about everything, and we don't really talk about food. Sometimes we eat and we thank the people, but it was a conversation after this meal.
Well, we wanted you all to know that you were truly family, and every time that we do Jazz at the Creek or any of our events, Mama Bear, who's over our hospitality, she literally spends a great deal of time looking at writers and everything else that nature to really make sure that the artists feel that love from. Because we know that they're on the road, and when our artists go on the road, we know how hard and difficult it could be to be away from home. And so she tries to give that love like you coming home to mama's kitchen. And she's funny because the young lady who was singing with the band, she was so independent that she didn't realize that there was a car to pick her up. And then she was eating a salad, and she said, "Well, I'm a pescatarian." I'm like, "Baby, don't you know Mama Bear done set you fish aside?" And she's like, "What?" And so it was fun to really just be in that servant mode to the different artists that came in.
Yeah, we felt the love when we walked in there. And sometimes as an artist, you can kind of go in and feel the vibe of the people that you're about to be with for the day. And it felt like home. It really did. You guys really did an incredible job of making us feel welcome and comfortable. That's just not always the case. And we thank you for that.
Amen.
Well, let's start with how you got started in this music industry. Did you start as a young kid playing in church? Because that's usually the story of most of our musicians and singers.
Yep. Young kid playing in church. A friend of mine's got me started. We were playing quartet music in the early 80s. Playing bass guitar. We moved from Washington, D.C. to a place called York, Pennsylvania. I was about 12 years old when I started playing bass, playing quartet music for about 7 years, and other little genres, but it's mainly quartet. Then I moved back home into the area, reconnected with some people from my past, from people that were connected to my family, played more events, and then I met this gentleman. I would hang out at Howard University, just hang out in the practice rooms. I met this gentleman named Chris Daddy Dave, as y'all call him affectionately, from Texas, and didn't know that he played with, believe one of your friends, Yolanda Adams.
Oh,
So Yolanda came to town. Um, Chris offered me to play, asked me if I would want to play. I got to meet him. I got to play with Raymond Angry, uh, who was a part of the band too, as well, when she would come to the East Coast, DC area. Uh, and it was domino effect after that. It was, you people see you playing with people, then they call you. And so that thing it got started. And of course I had played probably to Yolanda. I played all the music workshops,
right.
the midnight musicals. That's the guaranteed church stuff that happened every week. There was something going on. I played with multiple groups in the area. I met Steve Lawrence, who was used to be Potter's House Minister
Yes,
of Music,
from the Bay
Mark
Area.
McCoy. I mean, all the DC who's who. group called Agape. Freddie Jackson, the late Freddie Jackson, who passed away, was close to Richard Smallwood. And of course, I'll get to that as well. And it was a domino effect. And I say to people, when people ask me about my career, I said, when you're dedicated to God, God will bless you. And all this was because I was dedicated to the house of God. I don't think it had nothing to do necessarily with the high skill level, because people were thinking the skill level have to be high. But I really believe that you have to show some form of dedication, because God said he will owe no man. And all the concerts and all the revivals, and you know it if you've been in church,
Yes.
you don't get paid. Back then we didn't get paid, and nor did we really get expected to get paid.
Right.
But we just wanted to be a blessing to the kingdom, to the house of God, and to the people we serve with. And it came back. And so I got a chance to play with Yolanda. I got to do some touring and work with Yolanda. Great advice, because she was the first person I'd say I played with consistently on a professional level. So I was able to get great insight and information that I still carry today with me. Of course, later on I met, I'm a part of Richard Smallwood and Vision,
Wow.
the great project we did in Atlanta, Adoration, I consider one of the greatest songs of all time, Total
Total
Praise.
praise. Yes.
To be blessed to be able to play on the project, because Richard plays plays an orchestra. I'm a church musician. I didn't learn to read music. I knew my notes, but I didn't read music, and
Right.
still don't.
Right.
I'm on the stage with orchestras and just the best of the best. And once again, it was all because of God and my dedication to the house of God. I believe that He looked out for me, because I always looked out for the house of God.
Well,
And here it is.
faithfulness.
Yeah.
It's 2022, and I've been with Will Downing for 20 years. So, it goes
Wow.
on and on. And I could talk about
Yeah.
this all day, but I'm not going to hold.
Well, no,
Wow.
the reason why I said that is because we grew up in the church, and
Right.
I started playing when I was 7, and it was really different back then, because you basically played because that was a part of your ministry.
Mm-hmm.
It was never about a paycheck or anything like that. It was just a part of the ministry, and that was your service.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Your
saying?
reasonable service.
And when I started touring and everything like that, for me it was because of the love of the music before it was about a paycheck. And so, but the same thing that I did, if I, when I was in church, I came on time. I learned my music, and
Mm-hmm.
I did what I was supposed to do. When I went on the road, it was the same thing. Get there, be there early, make sure you know your music. And that was kind of like the upbringing. So growing up in the church, now when we're going to ask the question, what denomination were you a part of?
Well, you know what? It was, I want to say we were Pentecostal Holiness, but we weren't a part of any large
Okay.
organization. It
Gotcha.
wasn't a Church of God in Christ or anything like that,
Yeah.
because it was Pentecostal. Matter of fact, I was Seventh-day Pentecostal. We went to church on Saturday.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
It was just like Church of God in Christ on Saturday, if that makes sense to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Kept the Sabbath day, like, kind of like what Jesus in the did in,
Right.
the New Testament. But my mother, who was the pastor, um, taught us that, God's people was everywhere. God had people everywhere.
Yes.
And it wasn't about denomination. It wasn't about even the day that you went to church on. It's about the dedication of those who did the will of God. So we start realizing it wasn't even about, the four corners of the walls that we grew up in, because it's easy to, well, if they don't do it like us, then they're not like us, so we
Yeah.
shouldn't
Right.
associate. It was never like that. And so it was, one of those things you grow up, and I think that's the reason why I was able to play different genres of music, because I knew who I was as a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
I knew my limitations.
So let me, so in the Adventists, a lot of them are vegetarians, but being that you started the wing thing where you brought up vegetarian.
Oh no, never. Oh, no. Like I said, we Pentecostal, so we ate meat. I love hamburgers.
Right. You know what I'm listening to, and I really really value what you're saying. You were faithful, and the Bible does say that if you're faithful over few, He'll make you ruler over many. And many up and coming artists from this generation wants quick fixes. They want to be stars fast. They want to be known fast. But what I'm hearing from you is how you were faithful to your general church. That moves you to the next level, and serving in the church always connects you to other musicians, singers, producers in your area. Let's talk about growing up in that DC area when you got there. The vast music of so many people. Raymond, who sung background for Yolanda, who actually wrote the song for The Wiz.
Oh yeah. Um, it was even more, for me, it was even more humbling because I was around people who were doing great things at a high level, but yet they were still among the common people,
Mm-hmm.
which means they were reachable
Mm-hmm.
and never viewed themselves as being above anybody. Because a lot of times you have the stardom thing,
Yes.
and I don't speak bad about those who have that success because certain things people struggle with, and I get that, and so I don't talk but so much about it. But it was just really unusual to be around a group of talented people. Now this is before Vision, so I saw Sharice Nelson, I saw Marette Brown Clark.
Mm-hmm.
We were all doing the same thing. Steve Lawrence,
Right.
Phil Carter, Mike, and Marvin McCoy. We're talking about the who's who of the city,
Right.
back then. And for everybody to still be on friendship terms, able to talk, no one looked down, and was more of building each other up, which was the norm. It was the norm to invite somebody. Well, you know what? I want you to do this session with me. I want you to invite you. It wasn't really, I would say, competition because I just didn't see it.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying it never existed in the area,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't see it. I mean, I saw more of the friendship side of things than anything else. And that made me realize too that when you're confident in yourself, there's no reason to be any other way but that way,
That's
friendly.
right.
When you have the power of God in you, why would you be affected by somebody else's talent? Why would you be jealous or, envying someone who's doing something? Because we serve the same God, we're on the same Son.
Mm-hmm.
You
Right.
know, your day's coming one day.
That's right.
And that's where I was at. It was like, I was just glad to enjoy the moments with the people around. And I still, I get a chance to talk or be around them. It's the same thing. Nothing really has changed. And some are bishops, pastors of churches, and it goes on.
So let me ask you this question. Um, you're in D.C. Like when the Obamas came to town. Did it impact you all any differently than now?
Of course, because there was still a stigma of the color racial thing, and it's a subject I hate to talk about. I hate talking about racism
Mm-hmm.
because I have family members who are pretty much of every race.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality was, one saw that you could have people in power who carried themselves in such a with integrity
Mm-hmm.
that you really didn't really you a Democrat. You just had to just have something personal against these people because they showed nothing but respect,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and they carried themselves in a way not just for one group of people, but how everyone should act, carry themselves,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
especially when you're president and first lady, especially when you're holding the power of the world. I mean, you're one of the most powerful people on the planet,
Mm-hmm.
and you still have the warmth of a common person, which
Mm-hmm.
means you're reachable, you're friendly, and it's not all acts. Of course, we get tired. You can see that.
Mm-hmm.
You can see these were generally good people,
Mm-hmm.
and so it brought even more of a, you know what, we're going to continue to carry ourselves in a certain way because when we become in power, where you get you guys are hosting TV, a radio show. Some people could what you have right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That success will go to people's head. You
Right.
got to call my manager.
Right.
We don't do interviews outside of 6 months,
Right.
you know, or we just don't want to talk to you. It's
Mm-hmm.
just is that kind of that thought. I mean, you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
Yes.
about. It's
You
reality.
facts. Facts.
So it was really, I think, from what I've seen and from the people with the few conversations I had, it was a blessing to see them in the White House just for that reason to show that we have people who know how to act and carry themselves.
Mm-hmm. I personally like the fact that he put a basketball court at the White House. You know how they was worried about if the White House was going to still stay white, if he's going to change the color. You had all the little jokes, but I personally thought one of the most community things he did was he put a basketball court at the White House, and I thought that was dope. Let me also ask you this. Um, there are a lot of things that have been changing around the world, but one of the most powerful things that we've seen is the Smithsonian, the Black Museum. How in your city, with all the things that are changing, the monuments coming, everything like that, how has that been received from the locals?
Well, and I got a chance to I was in a band that I play with, not just locally, because we've done the Capitol Jazz Cruise, a band called Spur of the Moment.
Hmm.
And they are, popular band in the city. We got a chance to do opening night
Okay.
at
Wow.
Smithsonian.
Wow.
And walking through, the first form of impact I saw was the information many of us just didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
It was accessible, but sometimes you can have information out that you just don't know about. And I think that brought some form of pride about uh, the heritage of African American
Mm-hmm.
that's still being, I want to say, discovered, because even though the information is there, a lot of us don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was the most, as far as knowledge libraries for our history, it was probably one of the most needed things in Washington, D.C., because
Mm-hmm.
many of us just didn't know the impact
Mm-hmm.
of who we were as a
Right.
people,
Right.
who we are as a people,
Mm-hmm.
not just watching videos and thinking we're all thugs or we speak to our women a certain way or we act a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
that we have a rich history in which shaped America
Mm-hmm.
from all, from all colors.
Right.
I mean, so it was, for me, it was a little sense of pride, in a good way, knowing that, okay, we now can look and take our families to see something that's realistic and not have to search the internet,
Mm-hmm.
3,000 times to find one little thing, that we
Right.
can go
Mm-hmm.
walking through a place that has really honored, and of course, through our people, those who were involved in putting this together, to bring the history back to us so we can understand what we are.
My question to you is, with this gift that God has given you, where has it taken you outside of the U.S.?
Ooh. Well, I've got a chance to tour a few places. South America, we've done Europe, Japan, Canada. We've been around. I will have to pull out the old passports and look the stamp places. I can't remember the places that we went, but we've been playing. We went to Africa several times.
Wow.
Once with Will Downing, a few times with Gerald Albright. And I once forgot to say that I met Will Downing through Gerald Albright, because I used to play with Gerald Albright and Layla Hathaway
Wow.
in the mid '90s. Telling on myself because I'm 55 years old now, so I'm not that 25-year-old musician anymore. So God has blessed me, man. He really has. I mean, and there were places I had the opportunity to go, and I just wasn't able to do it because of scheduling. But Jakarta, I mean, I've been around. God's blessed me. God
So,
really has.
Now, ask your famous question.
so my favorite question is that well, it's a two-part.
Uh-huh.
The first part will be, what is your favorite place to go that you went to,
Mm-hmm.
and what was the one you, if you don't ever go back again, you cool with? And then the second question is, what was the best food that you had, and what was the place and the food that you had that you never want to try again?
Uh-uh.
Hawaii has always been my favorite vacation place to go.
Okay.
And
Wow.
we're actually going, Will Downing, we're actually going to Hawaii at the end of September.
Okay.
Wow.
So I look forward to that.
Yes.
So that is my favorite vacation place to go.
Uh-huh.
I love London. London feels like home sometimes. I love France. I love Rome. I mean, I love Africa too.
Mm-hmm.
Mozambique. We were in Mozambique. But Hawaii does it for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's the water, the sun, just the atmosphere. My worst place, oh God, I don't know if I should even say that, because I think I could set myself up.
Okay.
No,
But I
it's
feel
not.
like
It's no. It's not the worst.
It's one of the. I'll say, like, it's in one of the Caribbean islands, and I'll leave it at that.
Right,
Okay,
right.
okay.
Smart man.
I'm gonna leave it at that, because
Okay.
I'm sure I'm gonna have to end up going back there again. I don't want to be getting assaulted.
Right.
Okay.
Best food place, honestly, there are two now. There are two favorite places, my food places, and we were just there this past weekend in San Diego.
Well, all right.
Wow. Come on now.
No, seriously, everybody can't make turkey salad.
Uh-huh.
That turkey salad we've never had anything like that. Everybody said that. It's like, man, what did mom put in that thing? I said, man, all I know is I've never had anything like this. And we're eating turkey salad with crackers. Of course, the chicken, I know the ribs, the greens, everything was top level. I mean, God knows it's mac and cheese. It was, second to none. But I would say Mom's, what we just did this past weekend, and we did a place because we were in New Orleans. We were in New Orleans
Oh,
for
yes.
the special festival.
Oh, yes.
They had the best of the best out there. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't even deny and say them people can't cook, because the food was right. So it's a tie. It's New
Okay.
Orleans and San Diego.
Right on.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking
I'm
about.
the foodie in the group. So
Right.
Okay.
uh,
So the one place that the one
Food.
dish that you had that you never want to try again?
oh God. I think it was somebody attempted to make pasta salad at one of the jazz festivals. I won't name, but it was in California. That's all I'm gonna say. But it
Right.
wasn't San Diego. We
No.
were in California at one of those outdoor festivals, and somebody attempted to make pasta salad, and everybody was like, "It didn't taste good," and I think it made a few of us sick.
Wow.
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 Yeah, yeah, it was bad.
Right.
And it was one of those you taste it once. Oh, let me taste it again. Maybe it's my taste buds. It's like I thought, no, I'm not gonna eat it. But then it's like 4 hours later, an hour after the show, you're like, oh, I'm not feeling well. You go to the bathroom.
Right.
Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, that's all I can give you. I can't give out names.
Right. Right. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Right.
But so let me ask you this question. One of the things I noticed about the whole entire group is that you guys were very laid back and very,
So
I mean,
nice.
so it appeared that you actually not only liked each other, but
Yes.
you guys had created this family synergy,
Yes.
and there was no big eyes and little U's.
Mm-mm.
Everybody was family.
Amazing.
Well, that's a okay, and I'll put that out. They can slap me on the wrist later. That's a conversation we have privately sometimes. Sometimes I think we really look forward to being around each other because it is a family oriented type of situation.
Hmm.
We talk, we laugh, we cry. There is no conversation we can't have amongst each other,
Hmm.
and no one's offended, whether it's about anything, politics, religion, sports, our personal lives. A lot of times I literally get strengthened. I tell them from time to time because we have our realistic talks. And one time our sound man, I don't know if you got a chance to see,
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah.
Danny had said something a few trips ago. And it was so strange that he said what he said because I needed to hear it. And it was one of those things he told me in a nutshell. He said, Mark, when your conscious mind is making you feel uncomfortable about something, he says, it's almost like God's telling you not to do it. You know what I mean? That was the synopsis. And I was struggling with something for about 3 weeks before I saw them. We was like a 3 week period where we didn't see each other. And I was just riding in the car. I happened just to jump in the car with Will and him because they were going over to the venue early. And so those type of conversations happen all the time where you can be struggling with something. I never told anybody. It was just like I get answers sometimes in conversation,
Right.
Mm.
if that makes sense.
Yes.
Because we don't always talk about stuff. Sometimes I can talk about stuff. You can almost suffer in silence
Yes.
with certain things because you don't know how to go about it or you don't
Yes.
know how to talk about it. But I get answers around them,
Mm.
and
Amen.
it's those things. And then I've learned from some of the other band members, the same thing happens to them. So it's like it's more than just coming together to play good music with Will Downing. It's almost like it's a whole package. It really
Okay.
is. The ministry, the personal life, the
Hmm.
friendship,
Hmm.
and of course, the good music we play.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we play, you were there. R&B classics. We
Yes.
play a few smooth jazz.
Yes.
Well, Downing covers a lot of styles of music. So, and it's also music we all look forward to because you can never get bored playing it. We got so many different ways of playing different styles of music that you don't get bored.
So because of his tonation and how deep he can get, there's a part of the show that he starts showing off that bottom,
Yes.
and how uh it is a connection between you and him. Has he ever tried to get lower than your bass?
You know what? Believe it or not, and I'm gonna tell his secrets. He can slap me on the wrist later. Will a lot of times, he writes his song, sing the bass line.
Uh-huh.
So
Wow.
we'll be in sound check, and he'll be mimicking what I'm playing, or I try to mimic what he's singing.
Hmm.
So that's like I said, I have 20 years with Will now, so that's been going on for some time. So it's almost like automatic. I'm looking at his body language. I kind of know
Hmm.
where he's gonna go, and it's kind of like it's almost like a feel thing. It's hard to explain. I know at that moment in those songs, I feel like we're like spiritually connected because he'll do something, and he'll turn his body a certain way. He'll do something, and I'll catch him. It's like every time he'll turn around, throw the thumb up, or nod his head. And so no, it's been 20 years of doing that. So
Yeah.
it didn't, just didn't start happening. Yeah.
Wow.
Now I
Wow.
have a question. You were with Yolanda during the pivotal years of her transition. That Through the Storm album was the one that brought national attention to Jay Leno, which started the ball to rolling before the Open My Heart, which was a 2 million plus seller. How was it in that developmental time of Yolanda's transition? How was it being a part of her camp, her musical camp?
Well, you know what? And I'm glad you said it because she had two bands. She had a band in Chicago and she had a DC band.
Right.
She did a lot of work on the East Coast, of course, because that's where a lot of fan base is.
Right.
The, the the pivotal thing about this was the information she was passing down. We would have little conversations, nuggets conversations. What I mean by that is, I wanted to know, how does the music industry, how do you get to this point? Not just how do you get to this point. When you get to this point, what do you really focus on? I mean, I would speak on the things, and we had little nugget conversations. And, at the time, people didn't realize that when you're representing a company, because we wanted to make everything church. When you get about gospel artists, gospel, we want everything about church. But you are representing a company, which means
It's business.
your appearance, the way you carry yourself, and how you treat people are the top factors because you're representing a label.
Yes.
So you should be dressed appropriate for a concert. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, I know God says, "Come as you are," and all that.
Right.
I'm getting past that. But this is a business side. No one should have paid $7,500 coming to a concert and seeing you wearing t-shirt, jeans,
Sweatpants.
and it's not sweatpants. I mean, no offense.
Leggings.
You're not representing your company correctly because these people pay top dollar.
Right.
And here it is. Yolanda has on this incredible outfit. And sometimes you can look at artists like that. They have on incredible art. They turn around and somebody has on a Bugs Bunny T-shirt.
Right. True.
And you're not representing, and you're not really being a good steward over what God has given you.
True.
So
True.
I mean that, and I had to because at that time I was playing with Gerald and Layla, and doing dates with Yolanda. So with Gerald, sometimes I wasn't dressing up according to what we were representing. So I had to change. The way I look.
Right.
Then I had to change the way at the end of the concert, I had to shake people's hands, thank them for coming out, because a lot of times was just getting the van and go back to the hotel, feeling and realize, no, your day's not over. When the concert's over, you have little kids, you have people who just want to meet you. And I realized, God made me realize back in the day when I would go to a concert, I look forward to meeting the musician. If I had to shake his hand, that was it.
Yes.
But if that's going to move out, then I didn't get a chance to meet them. And to think that I used to be like that, and I had to change quickly.
Yes.
Because that changed the perception of who I was as a musician, as well as being in ministry. And so I think the way we carry ourselves play a bigger role in what we assume, because sometimes you're thinking, oh, I'm just playing for such and such. No, you're a part of the camp. When you shook my hand because I played with Will Downing, how would you have thought of me if I just walked away and said, no, dude, Will's over there, I'm just a musician? You would not have thought of me as being a professional.
Correct.
Or being someone who's kind, or really representing the organization and the label that carries us.
That's powerful. I remember being in Pine Bluff, Arkansas at my college, and Yolanda came. A ministry brought her, and she stood there and signed every last person's whatever with them high heel shoes on. And I thought to myself, she's I mean, the concert was over maybe 2 hours, and she still was fellowshipping and talking. So you can see the influence of her and others on you as a musician. I think it's wonderful, because I've also had some of those same good talks that prepares me for the industry and ministry as well.
Now I want to say that this happened at Mama Bear. This came on the line. And so because she came on the line, I'm going to let you tell her what you said so that she can hear directly from your voice.
Okay.
Yeah. No, she's actually on
She's
Facebook.
actually on. She's on Facebook now.
She's on that?
Yeah.
I gotta say, like I told them, the food we had was incredible. Turkey salad. I ate the turkey salad and crackers by itself for dinner. Nothing else. No, but everything was incredible. And I think as a band, we play a lot of places. We eat a lot of food. When he asked me a question, I gave him a realistic answer. I said some of the best food we've ever had in the 20 years that I've been a part of Will Downing has been your cooking. Now, I told him there was another group of people in New Orleans for a festival. They had the best chefs. It was one of those things. But yeah, this past weekend was, and I can say I've truly never had turkey salad like that. I've never had, the chicken wings. I'm the guy that started the chicken wing thing with Will Downing. That's the best we've had. I got to be honest. We've never had anything like that.
She says,
"Thank God for you."
She said, "Thank you, sweetheart. I truly appreciate you all very much. We
That means a
laugh.
lot to appreciate
Yeah,
people. It means a lot.
we laugh at Mama Bear because it's her signature turkey salad. And when we had John P. Key here, um, we had sent some back to the hotel with him. And at 1 o'clock in the morning, John's calling me saying, "Who made this turkey salad? Tell him, tell him I will pay them to make me something to take on the road." And he was so serious about it that Mama Bear made him some before they left San Diego. It's really a big labor of love working with artists because
Yes.
when you all come, it's like being in the church and you're ministering or you're singing or whatever. It actually changes people's life. There are some people, and I have to share this with you. There was a lady that was going through a heat stroke, and our paramedic that was on the scene was like, "Man, well, we want to go ahead and take you to the hospital." She said, she said, "No." She said, "I came to see Will, and y'all, give me this and cool me off, and I just let me sit here and give me some food." And I will say, here, see Will. At the end of the concert, she was back to herself, and she said, "Thank y'all so much. When Will sung, my whole body started feeling better."
That's powerful.
Wow, that's
Music
Yeah,
is
incredible.
powerful.
yeah.
Well, that's powerful. Yeah, it really is.
It's
Wow.
powerful. Let's talk about you and this single that we're going to feature with one of the best female vocalists around, LaJune Thompson. Let's talk about this song.
I would praise thy name. Mike Upshaw, um, incredible songwriter. Uh, like I say, he had called me and told me that God gave him lyrics uh, to a song that he needed to be recorded, and so he asked me about some singers, and so I couldn't really refer him. So my partner, who I do stuff with, Jeff Adams, referred LaJune because Jeff Adams grew up with LaJune and Cedric
In
Thompson
the Carolinas. Hmm.
in the Carolinas. Yeah, so Jeff Adams referred him, and man, all I can say is that's probably that's the song right now. That's the song that in this season that I listen to. That's an incredible song. I will
Yes, it
praise that
is.
name.
Yes, it is.
Uh, it's every now and then you'll get a song that that God has given for the people.
Yes,
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying that we don't have talented gospel artists, but I am saying sometimes there are certain songs that just come across.
yes,
I believe this is one of those songs,
I do
and
too.
I'm just blessed to be a part of it. But uh, and I know his partner, Mike Upshaw and Austin Woodley, they really put this song together. They're really the songwriters for this song, and it's powerful, man. I mean, I'm lost for words. That's where I'm at right now. You probably have to play the song for the people to have an understanding because where we were in the pandemic,
Yes.
many people have kind of lost their faith or got
Hmm.
weak in their faith,
Hmm.
won't go to church anymore.
Right.
And, sometimes it's the song that gets people back.
Yes, sir.
I think this is one of the songs that's going to get a lot of people back.
The good news of Jesus Christ
Yeah.
always works.
Well, one of the things that we want to let you know is that you are definitely family. We really, really appreciate your brotherhood
Yes.
and just who you are as an individual. So, anytime that you have something, I just want to come say, look, I'm coming on to hang out with y'all. We definitely want to welcome you. You are definitely that gentleman and a scholar, and I see you're consistently leaving a mark everywhere that you go,
Yes.
and your impact is great. So we just want to continue to love you as our brother, and we're gonna play the song so everybody else can experience what you've been talking about. This is
How can they find you?
oh
How can
yeah, that's
people
right.
find
Yeah,
you
how can they find you?
and communicate
Uh,
with you?
Mark A. Walker. I'm on Facebook. My website will be up in another week or so, and it'll be Mark A. Walker Music. And I'll send the information, but right now I'm on Facebook, Mark A. Walker Music.
Cool, cool. And now do you do any of the Instagram where you play and somebody else get to play with you?
I haven't done that yet. I have not done that yet. As a matter of fact, I had played. I did a little interview. I would say, look, I did an interview earlier in July with Sabrina Taylor on her
Mm,
show, I also did a little introduction of my song that I released last month, Duke Stroll, a song I dedicated to George Duke.
Mm.
And I played a little bit of it live, as well as played some other music that'll be coming out October and later on this year, as well as next year. Of course, I'll send that to you
Yes.
guys as well.
Yes.
Inspirational. Some of it's inspirational. Some of it's not. Some of it got a little funk to it.
Hey,
I'm
it's
still
all
in the
good.
jazz world, so I gotta, do a little bit of everything.
It's all
We
good.
got to keep the funk in it.
Yeah, keep the funk.
But I got one last question. One last question. The impact of go-go in your life. The go-go music.
And my family. I mean, my cousin Scooter is in the band EU.
Okay.
With Sugar Bear. So go-go, man, it's something that can't be explained. It has to be experienced. That's what I tell people.
Yeah.
You got to experience it. You can't talk about it. It's nothing you can put in words. Of course, it's incredible impact still today.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere. Chuck Brown will always live.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brown will always live.
And I actually heard a Miranda Curtis song just performed, and they slapped the go-go beat behind it to start it off. I was like, it was so fat that I was like, looking at the artist that was performing it, thinking that it was an original song. And she said, no, that's Miranda Curtis. I'm like, whoa. But I mean, it was a go-go beat, but it was churchy.
Yeah. Oh, it ain't going nowhere. I mean, Miranda Curtis, I'm sure Ty Tribbett did it once or twice. Ricky Dillard, everybody, you got to experience it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Experience it at least once.
Well, y'all, this is our friend and our brother Mark A. Walker. The song is "I Will Praise Thy Name" right here on GOD Radio 1.com.